physicality is the last place the imbalance shows up. So in other words, we have to treat the etheric body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the astral body, because this is where disharmony germinates from and then comes down frequentially and manifests itself within the body. I want to let you know that you can now drop in on my self-healing class where we do a live Q&A and a group healing meditation. It's pinned in the comments below.
There's a structural problem with the healthcare industry in general, and that is that you got the problem. They're working from a place where they have the problem, and then they're just trying to fix the problem, and so it's always at a very limited perspective. And people go to the doctor. The doctor's going to see the problem, and he's going to try to figure out some way to just stop the effects of what's going on, not the actual cause. And it's always about just reducing and allaying the effect of the problem. There's some good doctors out there that try, but overall the structure is set up so, oh, I have an inflammation. Well, let's just try to get rid of the inflammation, not even trying to figure out what the cause of the inflammation is, right?
You got it. I mean, that's one of the primary issues. It's part of why humanity has lost touch with self-healing, because the approach is backwards. So and let's look at it this way too, Brian. When I say healing, I bet almost everyone thinks of physical healing when I say healing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. Physicality is the last place the imbalance shows up. So in other words, we have to treat the etheric body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the astral body, because this is where the disharmony germinates from and then comes down frequentially and manifests itself within the body. So what we do in terms of Western medicine, we're treating just where the symptoms have shown up. We're not, just like you said, we're not treating the cause, which is why Western medicine doesn't talk about the C word, which is cure. They just treat symptoms. I'm not interested in just treating symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
When we work with ourselves optimally, what we'll do is we go to the area of our higher mind where form and function is actually created. Now, when you go to where form and function of the vehicle, when you go to where form and function is created, the changes that you make there eventually travel down frequentially and then show up in the physical form. I mean, how else do you unparalyze yourself? So you have to go to the form and function. And I'm going to actually walk people through the process of getting to that state of consciousness and then actually making the alterations there. And then eventually it shows up in the physical body. And the second thing about that is that we believe in the authenticity of a diagnosis. That makes it real. That makes it solid. That makes it impossible to overcome. That's very important to understand. And the other aspect of that is, if we agree and start to take physical things, whether it's pills, tinctures, antibiotics, anything like that, what we're saying is we are agreeing that matter has dominion over spirit. And it does not. It absolutely does not. So we have to do everything in reverse. We have to forget everything that we think we know. We have to let go of all these theoretical assumptions. We have to stop being a consumer of other people's opinions and start realizing the truth that we are an immortal, limitless creator. And when we have the right process to go to the levels of form and function and to deprogram and delete these things, there is absolutely no limitations in terms of what we can do. And that's exactly what we're going to literally tangibly experience when we do the workshop.
I'd like to sidestep, because you brought up something very fascinating and it helped me understand my own healing and others. You mentioned the different bodies that we're aware of our physical body, but let's talk about those other bodies just for a second so we can identify those. There are these subtle bodies that we have, and some people might not understand this concept. There's an astral. So how many bodies do we actually have, and how do they work?
Yeah, so think of the chakras, right? And without us getting lost in all this information, but think of each chakra, and there are 7 bodies of energy: celestial body, etheric body, emotional body, mental body, astral body, physical body. So there's all these different levels. So just here's the image that I use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're old enough like me. You remember a slinky. Okay. So the top of the so let's go back with the top of the steps where we're going to put the slinky at the top of the steps and then we kind of push it and it goes down the steps. Okay. So the top of the steps, Brian, is the creator consciousness level of where form and function is put together. Okay. So
Mhm.
that is our blueprint of perfect health. Our blueprint of perfect health, where form and function is put together. Now, each time that slinky goes down one step, it's dropping down frequentially, and there is another blueprint that is translated from the original blueprint of perfect health. So each time we come down to the celestial, to the etheric, to the astral, to the mental, as the slinky's coming down the stairs, it's another blueprint. It's another translation of the original form. And this is where we misprogram ourselves through deep rooted misperceptions, misunderstandings, and misidentifications. And then once we have that in any one of those bodies, that blueprint of that's been misprogrammed is now translated one more step down as the slinky comes down. And now we have a blueprint that's off, that's incorrect, that carries with it ill health or disharmony, and
Mhm.
that keeps getting translated till we get to the physical body, and then we have the physical translation of our own misprogramming that we have done to ourselves through the misperceptions, misunderstandings, and misidentifications. Now, the further that we go up in our consciousness and we're able to go up these frequential steps, and the further you go up to form and function is where you can change anything, because that's what informs the celestial, the etheric, the mental, the astral, the physical, everything. So when you go that way, when you work that way, there's nothing that you can't do. If you're just addressing the body, what that's really like is you have a flood in your basement, right? And you keep trying to clean out the basement because it keeps flooding. Yeah, but the leak is on the second floor. So it doesn't
Mhm.
matter how many times you treat the body, right? That's not the source point. So the difference between these teachings is the tangible experience that we're going to be able to have by going to these higher states of consciousness and put the power back in our hands. And there's nothing that we and I when I say nothing, I mean there's nothing that we can't overcome. It doesn't matter what it is because it's all energy and it can be directed by the sentient to the I am when we work with ourselves optimally and properly. And that's exactly what we're going to do. If you are unaware, I lead a global meditation where all of us come together with a single pointedness of focus by harnessing our attention and intention, which is a massive amplification of our energy, which yields greater efficacy in terms of what it is that we desire to manifest. If you want to help change the world, literally, sign up on the link below because we're going to be doing another one very soon.